Welcome to Recaply EX, or your movie recap in a flash. We bring the drama, the action, and the twists. In minutes, the movie begins with letters saying, Vietnam. We see a warplane flying over a Vietnamese agricultural area with rural inhabitants, who live through the worst moments of their lives when the warplane drops bombs on them, burning their simple rural homes and all their crops that they depend on. Now, we go back in time to know what happened before the main mission on Vietnamese soil. We see the commander asking the specialized team to send a warplane over the northern part of Vietnam. The goal of the mission is to cut off the supply of weapons to the Vietnamese groups. The mission was very secret, and no one of any rank was allowed to talk about this secret mission to anyone, and even if anyone spoke to their family about it, they would be killed. After that, they start training in some skills that will help them in the mission, including survival training. This is considered the main part that will guarantee the success of their mission. At this time, the pilot named Dieter Dengler is assigned to the mission. Meanwhile, Dieter asks the officials preparing for the mission to design a secret pocket in his military boot so that he can keep his American passport or anything that proves his identity. When the final instructions for the mission arrive, the first thing is a warning not to use any military communication devices on the battlefield, even if they are under attack. It is impossible to use any means of social communication or any military communication device because information has reached them from the Vietnamese military groups that they are able to intercept military communication signals. This is because if they do, their location will be discovered and they will be attacked, which would result in heavy losses among American soldiers, whether weapons, military equipment, or even the pilots themselves. Then we see the day of the mission. 4 fighter planes, led by Dieter, head toward Vietnam. During the operation, Dieter's plane is hit, resulting in the destruction of a large part of the plane, so he loses control of it, but he manages to eject before it crashes and is destroyed on Vietnamese soil. When he lands, he moves away from the crash site because the Vietnamese people will come to the place where the plane crashed. At this moment, Dieter enters the jungle and hides the radio under a pile of leaves. He keeps running, but unfortunately, a group called the Lao Group sees him and chases him through the jungle, but Dieter manages to escape them. Later, he sees a military plane and tries to attract the attention of the pilot or anyone in the crew. He climbs a big rock and starts calling for help, but all his efforts are in vain. So he goes back into the jungle to hide, but he is kidnapped by an armed group after they saw him drinking from the river near the jungle. The first thing they did after kidnapping him was parade him through their entire village. Then they put him in the place where he would be tortured. They started by scaring him with gunshots near him. Then they took him by truck to the capital. During this time, they brought him before the official there, who treated him kindly at first. Dieter was thirsty, and the official gave him water and started asking about his identity and the reason for his presence there. Dieter tried not to reveal his true identity, but under constant pressure, he confessed that he was an American officer and showed them the passport that no one knew about. The official tried to bargain for his freedom, saying he would release him if he signed something to condemn America for its intervention and wars in Vietnam, and to declare to the world that America is harming Vietnamese civilians. But Dieter refused, even though he knew the official was right, but he also knew that American intelligence, if he said such things, would not let him go. The official got angry and ordered his guards to torture Dieter, then sent him to the detention camp. There he found friends, soldiers and pilots captured during the war in the prison camp. Among the detainees were 2 pilots named De Bruyl and Marty, as well as fighters from different nationalities. De Bruyl starts showing Dieter the places where the guards are weak. At night, they manage to talk to each other without the guards' knowledge. Dieter suggested a plan to escape from the camp, but De Bruyl did not agree with the plan and warned Dieter against escaping, saying he would be risking his life because of the harsh weather and the high temperatures in the jungle, which make it impossible for any soldier to escape death from thirst. But the other detainees disagreed with De Bruyl and agreed to Dieter's plan, even though they knew their chances of success were almost non-existent. But the feeling of being free was the only thing that encouraged them. After that, they found a solution, but they rejected it because escaping during the day would expose them to high temperatures. So they decided that night was the best time to execute the plan. But they faced a big problem at night. They were chained with iron shackles. This was a major obstacle to the success of the plan. Dieter told them he needed a piece of metal, like nails, to open the shackles. Indeed, they took the nails from the walls and were able to open the restraints. Dieter's idea worked, which increased their trust in him. The next day, the guards saw an American fighter plane flying over the camp. This made the Vietnamese think that the prisoners had managed to communicate with their friends and call for help. So the guards started shooting the prisoners, but in a way that hurt them without killing them, so they would keep suffering. Because of this punishment, Marty was shot twice in the head. After that, we see De Bruyl ordering Dieter to abandon the escape plan so they would not be exposed to danger, since the plan, even before its execution, started causing them problems. At this point, De Bruyl tells him, "If I see you carrying out the plan, I will report you to the guards." After a few days pass, the day comes when the prisoners celebrate Dieter's birthday, and he tells them that he has changed the escape plan from the camp. He says that now they must take full control of the camp and that this will give them enough time to call for any military aircraft that might pass over the camp. At this moment, all the prisoners agree with Dieter to carry out the mission, and they plan to execute it on July 4th, which is American Independence Day. They begin to prepare for this day with all the means available, focusing on every detail concerning the guards and how they spend their day guarding the prison. After detailed and intensive study, they discover that the guards leave their weapons at their posts when they go to eat. Night falls, and they are all awake in the hut where they sleep. After much struggle, they manage to dig through the floor of the hut. Dieter, through the opening, manages to cross the camp fence or remove metal parts to use as weapons to kill the guards in the kitchen. They know that the guards will not have any weapons with them. Dieter tells them to hurry up with the plan because he hears the guards saying, "We are going to kill all the prisoners." One of the Vietnamese guards asks his friend why they are going to kill them, and his friend replies, "Because they are going to try to escape." On the morning of the next day, Dieter divides them into two groups. He and Mart are in the first group, and De Bruyl is in the second. Before he leaves, Dieter tells them that they must head in separate directions away from the iron fence, and then meet up in the kitchen. Dieter manages to collect the weapons the guards left in their usual places when they went to eat, and then distributes the weapons to the prisoners. Dieter and Mart go to the kitchen and attack the guards, shooting at them, but the second group is delayed. Dieter starts to get worried because if the guards call for backup, their plan will fail and they will be killed in the worst ways. He sees the second group, led by De Bruyl, abandoning the mission and going in another direction. Dieter and Mart escape. After a few days on the run, the rainy season begins, which gives them enough water to drink so they can continue their journey. They start building a small boat out of wood to cross the river and reach the big river, which is considered the gateway to Thailand. Unfortunately, the small boat heads toward a very dangerous waterfall, but they manage to get out of the boat at the last moment and reach the other side. They continue on until they reach an abandoned village, where they light fires in the old huts as an attempt to signal for help from American warplanes. Unfortunately, the American warplanes think they are enemies and start shooting at them. Dieter and Mart barely manage to escape and return to the forest. They are very exhausted from the long journey and the attack they faced. When they find a small village, they decide to surrender to the villagers because they are extremely hungry and tired. When they arrive, they try to trick the villagers into giving them something to eat. The villagers come, but unfortunately, they kill Mart. Dieter manages to escape and return to the forest. At this point, Dieter is exhausted and unable to continue. He's on the verge of dying from hunger and thirst. He sits in the forest near the river for a long time, fighting death. He starts hunting animals to eat and drinks the rainwater he manages to collect. With great difficulty, Dieter manages to adapt to the harsh conditions, until one day, the miracle he was waiting for happens. A helicopter discovers his location and lowers a rope for him to climb up. As he is climbing, Vietnamese soldiers arrive and start shooting at him, but he quickly climbs up. The pilot shoots back at them, and they escape. Dieter is rescued and taken to a military hospital for treatment, but he is isolated from the other patients by order of the American Intelligence Agency. Due to the secret nature of his mission, he is reunited with his American team, who wanted to make sure he was safe. They planned to take him away, as they were old friends from work. Their goal was to help him escape from the investigations, which were not important at all. They hide him in the bakery cart, and while talking to the investigators waiting for Dieter, his friends tell them to wait a little so he can rest. But in reality, they say this to help him escape quickly. Indeed, they successfully escape, and his friends are happy because he has returned to them. They return to their military base, where his whole team is waiting for him, happy for his return. The commander tells Dieter that he is happy he will be returning to work with them, and that he came back because he believed in his country. Dieter replies that all he believes in is that the commander should bring him a piece of meat. At that moment, his friends come, lift him up, and cheer his name, happy that he survived. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.